Morning, David Buggie here. Early start this morning. Heading down to Limerick to meet up with Aiden, Cawley and Faye. We're interested in distributed energy systems, and there's a company in Limerick that's building small generation sets for distributed energy industry. So we're back here in the office, huh? After
very interesting trip.
A trip to Limerick. Yeah. Anything stuck out for you, or did you take away from the conversation with Andy?
I think how open he was in terms of discussing how he created his business and went down a number of cul-de-sacs, and he's eventually landed on something that's, I think, very valuable in the market. So that stood out for me. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, he was really very open with us, wasn't he? And I mean, I think one of the things that I recognised was just speaking to someone who's in the industry, you know, distributed energy industry. Okay, you don't have as many facts and figures that if you sit in front of a computer for a day and look on websites, but you definitely have a much better feeling for where the market is, what's possible, and I guess some ideas about what Siemens might be able to do in that market.
Yeah,
I was. I think for me as well, what emerged from the conversation with Andy was F4energy, which is, I guess, his company. I think what they're able to do is manage the gap between a large company like Siemens that wants to provide a relatively standardized piece of equipment, generator, you know, machine, engine, whatever, control system, and turn that into something that fits on a customer site to what the customer needs, you know, tailored to the customer situation. And his value is in managing that interface, I think, and creating the solution, if you like, from just a product that we might be able to sell him or any other OEM could sell.
I suppose not even, like we saw on his floor, he had a standard container, which looked like a standard shipping container of 3.4 meters or whatever dimension he mentioned. But he was building an almost light container, but a little bit wider. To allow those the distances inside that you could walk around it more freely. So he was actually taking a very standardized product and kind of putting his own twist on it for the customer, or maybe for an organization like us. So he had a lot of scope to do that.
Yeah, and I got the impression he can probably do that at a cost that we couldn't compete with. So, you know, him being based in Ireland, using local labour, you know, short travel distances when he has something to ship, he can manufacture that solution around the product that we could sell him at a lower cost and in less time than I think we would be able to try and do it as a big organisation like Siemens.
Yeah, I think the other thing that stood out for me a little bit as well, he showed us a number of the projects he delivered. There was one with the pipe bridge, so it was on the other side of the road of the production plant, and they actually manufactured the pipe bridge to connect over to the process itself. I think that's something we would really struggle with. So he does add, just around the container itself, he adds a lot of content for the final delivery. So it's more of a kind of a system approach. He was quite flexible.
And I think he's doing some innovative things. He spoke, I mean, they're relatively simple, but they probably make a difference to an end customer, like, you know, putting high quality paint on and using good techniques for applying the paint to the containers. You know, using good engineering techniques about where to place valves and, you know, what valves to source, and high quality materials. You're talking about using truck seals on the doors of the containers. So like, and I think
stainless steel piping.
Only using stainless steel.
Because it never gives issues. So he had an eye for quality as well. So
absolutely.
That would kind of link quite well into the brands.
And then the last thing that struck me was, you know, Andy mentioned several times he hasn't put out, you know, completed a tender for several years. So, you know, he's winning all his business as repeat business, word of mouth, people want him. And he's unlikely to come to us saying, can you offer me an engine? I think our route to market here is we need to go out and find some potential customers that are, traditional, possibly as identified by DES as, large electrical consumers that are currently connected to the grid. We can offer them, or at least get into a conversation with them about what would it be like if they had local energy generation on site. What would that look like from a cost perspective? Do they have the space? What would it mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we could find someone that was interested in that, and I think they definitely exist, because I think there's a business case for as much as anything else. But if we can find a few of those potential customers, we can go to Andy potentially and say, what would it look like if he was to design a solution based on an engine we would have. So yeah, I'm quite hopeful actually after I met with him this week, and quite excited about what might be possible.
Yeah, he gave me the impression that he's pretty unique in the market. So I don't know if we continue to search, we may not find many like him, but it was definitely a good visit.
Yeah, great to get out.
Interesting visit. Yeah.
Okay, thanks very much.
Do you have to?